I'd been brought up traveling all over the world, surrounded by extremely smart and successful and beautiful people, intellectuals, artists, leaders, in a cultured environment. I'd gone to elite private schools, Birch Wathen, Eaglebrook, George, where I'd been offered a level of education that the public schools around here didn't come close to. I had grown up in the most rarefied enclaves in exquisitely beautiful homes, and I was aware of how fortunate I'd been to experience all of that. But I also found myself drawn to the rougher, more struggling life of the poor to middle class. Carpinteria was the sheep town near Santa Barbara, rife with lower middle class delinquents. The high school had surfer kids. It had cowboys from ranches up in the hills. There weren't many black kids, but there was a significant Mexican gang presence. The bad kids, some of the members of the local Mexican gang called Carpas, and not the rich preppies of Santa Barbara, were my people. I took pride in navigating the world comfortably and having street instincts that were authentic and allowed me to blend in. I didn't feel like I was posing or slumming. I was making a choice based on what I wanted to do rather than following a script determined by my education and upbringing. It was a way to feel free of the weight of my last name and the expectations that came with it. At the same time, ironically, I was unwittingly practicing the family craft, acting, and doing a good job of it. I'd been stubbornly committed to the idea of going to school with my Santa Barbara friends, and now that it was happening, just as Mom and Dad were finally pulling the trigger on a divorce, I made a conscious decision about how I wanted to be seen. As a wild, dangerous kid, and acted accordingly. My friends, who'd stayed in California, had avoided the softening influence of East Coast prep schools, and I was insecure about my own toughness compared with theirs. They still thought New York was crazy, the concrete jungle, and I tried to confirm that idea, carrying myself in such a way that guys in Carpinteria would look at me and respect me and want to hang out with me. My friends came from families of average means. I was an oddball. I learned that I had to be just a little bit wilder than everyone else, a little bit meaner to get people to go from, oh, that Douglas kid, he's a fucking rich spoiled pussy, to, oh, that Douglas kid, he's the real deal. We surfed and fought and did coke. I'd played football since I was 10, and I started out the school year on the Carpinteria High team, the Warriors. But skateboarding, more conducive to partying, was becoming a much bigger part of my life, and I soon quit football so I could devote myself to my new lifestyle. Quitting the football team was a big deal for me. I'd never quit any sport before, and I took pride in that fact. But I told myself that I was quitting now because of my parents' divorce. Maybe in a roundabout way, I was. Somehow, I felt that the divorce justified doing what I really wanted to be doing, which was running around with my friends, getting high and drinking 40s and not spending a couple of hours after school every day at football practice. Some of my football teammates pushed back, challenging my decision, but when I hit them with the divorce, which was so public, what could they do except to express sympathy and say they understood? I knew this was a pivotal moment. It was an outwardly insignificant shift that was committing me to a doomed path. Even then, I was conscious that things were going to be different going forward, and not necessarily for the better. I was giving up on normal life and saying, fuck everything. After I quit football, I'd still show up when everyone congregated for Friday night games, but I felt guilty being there, reminded of my choices, and I'd try to leave before the game started. I spent some of my newly free time on